When I saw John Wick jump up on the hood of the car and finish that guy in the driver's seat with this thing, I was like, let me get on the internet and see what that thing is. I want to learn all about that thing. All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Matt Smith. I'm the director at Sheepdog Response. I'm an Army veteran. I did 25 years in the service of the United States Army. Almost all of that is in special operations. I'm joined today by Porter. Porter is also a veteran of the United States military. He's in the Air Force and a veteran of law enforcement. And he's here today to talk to me about shotguns.
Yep, I'm Andre Porter, 4 years United States Air Force, about 23 years in law enforcement now. Of that time in law enforcement, some of it was on SWAT team, some of it was with a K-9 unit, and the other part of it, I'm now a defensive tactics and firearms instructor.
Yeah, so Porter invited us out to his shotgun course here in Austin, Texas. It was one of the most amazing experiences. I consider myself an old dog, but I learned a couple new tricks. I was really happy, excited to be able to do it. It was amazing to be out there and really learn about the potential of this weapon system, and so that's what we're here talking about today. We got a shotgun course coming out for Sheepdog Response, and so we're here talking about shotguns. There's so much to know about shotguns, so many different types of shotguns, so many different uses for shotguns, everything from hunting to home defense to police work. Porter discussed with me recently about a program that he worked on very hard to try and increase the advocacy for officers to have their own weapon systems and to use the shotgun a lot more. And one of the most surprising things I learned from Porter's course was about the accuracy of shotguns. Talk to me a little bit about the use of a shotgun, especially with law enforcement.
For us in law enforcement, it's a multifaceted tool. We have less dedicated, less lethal shotguns. Every patrol car, for the most part, has a shotgun.
Very high level of reliability. Ease of use, very easy to use. So it's a great weapon to get into the shooting with. There's so many different options, and you can really build out a shotgun to do just about whatever you needed to do. But most important is, in the modern era, as more and more as the advocacy or the availability of assault rifle platforms are being called into question, now a lot of people are starting to look back at the shotgun and say, hey, maybe that should be my go-to defense system. And I don't necessarily disagree with that. Studies show that most times in a home defense or self-defense type situation, usually is over within 5 rounds or less. And most of these shotguns you see on this table here are 7 or 8 round capacity, and some, depending on the shells it use, upwards of 20 or more. Capacity really isn't the big detractor that people think it is. I think they're an excellent weapon system, and I love shotguns. I love shooting them. They're great to shoot, and I can't wait until our new course comes up and we get to go out and teach some shotgunning to people. All right, so in the world of shotguns, there are many different types of shotguns. Everything from double-barreled, side-by-side, over-under, break-breech guns. Those are still very relevant. They still use those a lot. They use them in bird hunting, shooting, sporting, clay. But most of the modern shotguns that we're talking about here are much higher capacity, which means they hold a lot more ammunition, and they come in different versions, pump action and semi-auto or autoloader type shotguns. So we're just gonna talk through the different actions of different shotguns, and so you can see what out there. And Porter, why don't you start with what you got there at pump action?
All right, this is gonna be this is my old patrol gun.
Yep.
It's a Mossberg 590. This particular gun has a 14-inch barrel on it. You have to get some ATF stamps and approval to have that. But on this particular shotgun, I kept a side saddle. It's just a Velcro card. I was able to keep 2 slugs, 4 buckshot on the side, and this particular shotgun held 5 in the tube and 1 in the chamber here. Nice. Also on the side, had a speed feed stock, so I could hold 2 more rounds on each side.
Yeah, those are great.
So the best thing about it was, for me, as a K-9 handler, like, man, it was super short, compact gun. If I was running with another handler, I had a long gun that we could use. Most of the time we were in the woods, so like this was a perfect woods gun for me. Yeah. I didn't get tangled up too much. It wasn't too big, not too heavy. It was just kind of like just right.
What is the importance of things that you need as far as add-ons to a shotgun?
In the world of AR magazines, it's got 30 and 50, 60 rounds. The shotgun doesn't hold that many. So one of the things we do is we just keep some extra rounds on it so we can keep it fed. That's number one. Yep. Next big thing is my sling. So like everybody's got a pistol, it's got a holster. This sling is like my holster for this shotgun. I've got to do something with it. If I'm not using it, I can sling it. Next biggest thing I would have on here is a light. This particular one doesn't have a light, but I've got another one here I'll bring up in a second. It's got a light on it. It's equipped for a sling. I took it off for for the broadcast today, but like this is for the most part a setup that you'd want to have for a shotgun.
Yeah, this is a very utilitarian, great defense setup right here.
Next thing we'll talk about is just operating the shotgun. So like these are training rounds here. One of the things that you do with a shotgun, it's super simple to load. You know, with the action open, it's got an action bar release lever, so we can open and close it. A lot of people say, hey, I use my shotgun for home defense. And so people have it, and then they go, hey man, when I rack my shotgun, it makes people run. I've never really seen the science or the data on it, but like, you know, most people that come in your house, they want to know that they have the element of surprise, and when they hear something, like you heard something, I think it might change the game. If it's an individual that's committed, a little bit of noise isn't going to bother them.
Yeah, there's no doubt that the sound of a racking shotgun does make make you pucker up a little bit. But he's right. Like you might not want to give up the element of surprise by making a bunch of noise with your shotgun. If your shotgun's in the ready position, you should be able to operate it fairly quietly. You don't have to power rack it like you do in the movies.
One of the things we do when we just load the shotgun, you just take the round, push it in, 1, 2, action bar release, and it's loaded and it's ready to go at this point in time. On these Mossbergs, one of the things that a lot of people like about the Mossberg is the safety. It sits right in the middle of the shotgun. Some of the other ones we'll show here in a little bit. The safety's along the trigger
guard there, yeah.
Trigger guard. But like the Mossberg, if you're left-handed or right-handed, it doesn't matter. The safety's right along the back of the shotgun there, so you can operate it with ease.
So talk to us about the magazine. So where's the magazine on this thing?
The magazine on this shotgun is this second barrel, basically, that you see, or this second tube you see underneath the barrel of the shotgun. It's got a spring in here and a follower, so the more rounds we put in this thing, it just pushes that spring up, and then as we start to eject them, that spring pushes them down. This action opens, they push out here, and there's a lifter, lifts them up, and then when the action goes back forward, it just loads it for you automatically.
Yeah, it's a wonderful weapon system. And also, don't sleep on the pump action. A pump action is an incredibly fast gun when you get to use it. I mean, as with any gun, you got to go out and train. But one of the things that Porter showed us when we went to his course, he went head to head against somebody with an auto loader, and he got that thing pumping and slinging nearly as fast, if not faster, as an auto loader could do it, just because he took the time to train with it. He understands how his weapon system works.
I'm not worried about the gas system of the gun like you do have to do in some of the semi-autos, but like I put it in here, I pull the trigger, and I manually bring this out with that pumping action.
Now I'm going to show you this one over here. This is also a Mossberg. This is a Mossberg 930. Well, this one is a semi-automatic gun. So this works on gas blowback like a lot of rifle systems. It's a little bit higher capacity. It holds 7 in the tube, 1 in the barrel. It's got a little bit wider gate and breech here, so getting rounds in it is faster, because this is a gun that you might use for competitive shooting. I would say this is an entry level competitive shooting shotgun. And this one, I would drop that first round right here, right into the breech, and then I would depress this button, and that would release the spring action, which is not done by a pump. This is just a solid grip on this one. I hit it, and it drives that round into battery, and then I would just load it the same way into the magazine, a little bit longer magazine on this one. There is a little bit more maintenance involved with the autoloader, and autoloaders kind of have a reputation of ka-chunking quite a bit, meaning that they malfunction a little bit more often than the pumps. Pumps typically have a reputation of a little bit more reliability, but frankly, both these weapon systems now are getting near level to each other in both those aspects. They're both fantastic weapon systems. So the one that I have just laying in front here, this is the Remington 870. Remington 870, and it's known in the community as Old Reliable because it will eat whatever you give it as long as you keep feeding it.
At the beginning and the end of the day, the most important thing is, it doesn't matter which shotgun you have, it's just get what you have and train with it, become proficient with it. The shotgun that I typically use in all of my classes is the oldest shotgun that I have in the armory. It's an older wooden style, beat on a barrel shotgun just like this one. Put the training and the time in, and you can have a very efficient hunting weapon, self-defense weapon, home defense, something that you can definitely stake your life on. And is a very reliable weapon system. Yeah,
that's why I can't advocate enough. Like I said, when you get in, just get a nice, simple pump action one until you get comfortable. And from there, the learning curve goes up very easily. If you don't want to go for something that's got a lot of bells and whistles, I don't recommend it. Start simple and work your way up. That thing will always be a valued commodity. I know people who have had shotguns in their families for 6, 7 generations and even further, just because they take a licking and keep on ticking. They'll last a long time. As long as you take care of them, they'll take care of you.
The big thing that I like about shotgun rounds, in a world where gas is almost $4 a gallon, sometimes closer to $5, like this box of 25 shotgun shells here is probably $5. The home defense rounds or the self-defense rounds that you can find, they're probably $5. It's not as many, but you're talking about a different round. Also, like you can buy these by the case for $25.
Yeah, you can get them in
and
bulk.
a box of 9mm of 50.
Yeah.
Right now it's probably $25, $30.
Shotguns are measured in gauges. The three most common are the 12, the 10, and the 20. 20 is usually used for bird hunting, that type of stuff. 12 gauge is kind of all around, and 10 is usually a big game hunting caliber. The lower the number, the bigger the barrel. They come in different lengths too. You can see them here. Most of these are 2 3/4 inch. There are 3 inch. So make sure that you get the appropriate shell. If you look at the barrel, it'll tell you, like you can see the information right here. It'll tell you what size shell to use. So Porter, what would you recommend for a home defense round?
Me personally, anything that's low recoil. So anything that you can buy commercially off the shelf for self-defense, and a lot of them say self-defense on the box. The manufacturers market those rounds strictly for people for self-defense. One other thing I'll add, and you're a medic, so you've probably seen a lot of it, the stopping power of the shotgun. Like it's unquestionable, it's undeniable. The permanent wound cavities that are created by, especially the slugs, some of the double-aught bucks in close range, it's hard to fix, but they make for excellent stoppers of whether it be an animal, person. There's not a whole lot of cases where individuals have to be shot multiple times with a shotgun.
When I was on a team as an operational guy, we used a shotgun primarily for what we call ballistic breaching. We would use it to open doors. If we had a door that we had to get in for entry into a building, and so we used a shotgun. I used the little Mossberg 500, and for those, there were specialty rounds that they made for them. So they do have additional specialty rounds. They have beanbag rounds. You may have seen those. You may have seen those on TV, and you've seen people use those. And then we use something called a Hatton round that fired a wad through that would do a lot of damage, but wouldn't give you a lot of over penetration. So there's a myriad of different rounds out there. A lot to look into. They do have universal shotguns that will eat all different size shells, but make sure you know before you go and buy the shells. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about using a shotgun for self-defense. And that's what we've geared our new shotgun course towards. A lot of people are selecting an AR platform as a go-to weapon for home defense. I wanna caution people because you always have to be worried about over penetration, which means that weapon system is so powerful that if for some reason you're not accurate, or even if you are accurate and you make your shot and you land it right where you need to defend your life or your livelihood, there is a likelihood that that round is going to continue on along its path, or worse yet, it may continue along an unintended path, which is why I really like the shotgun. It's not that the shotgun isn't powerful, it's just that most of the ammunition for a shotgun is designed so that it dissipates a lot of its energy once it hits a target. So that energy goes into the target and stays there, as opposed to rifle rounds, which are intended to create cavitation and pass a high level of energy through a target. You shoot in your house with a high-powered rifle and you miss, or you get a lot of over penetration, that's what you're dealing with. And if your daughter, your dog, your family, something valuable is in the room 2 rooms down, that round may find its way there. If I was gonna have a home defense shotgun, like Porter said, I would make sure that I have a light and it was set up for action. Like Porter's got one back here. He can demonstrate it for us.
This particular gun is my personal gun that I keep at home. As you can see, it's just got the 5-round tube on it. It does have a light. I don't have a sling on it because I don't plan on slinging it. I keep it in a particular location. My family can get to it should they need it. And make sure you have a plan and your family understands that plan. It's a complete system. It's not just the gun, not just the person, but it's everything surrounding it.
Yeah, and that's the most important part, is like he said, is knowing your system, having it set up, add or subtract as necessary for you to make it right for you, and then really just get plenty of training, get that thing in your hand. Promise, once you get your hand on this thing, you're gonna be a believer too. Shotguns are great weapon systems. This is a Kel-Tec KSG. It's made here in the US and in Florida. It's a very popular, high capacity, tactical bullpup shotgun. I can get 27 of these little shotgun shells in there, and they pay out at the stock here. So the ejection port's down here. I got the extended selector switch, so I can just hit it with my wrist and switch between magazines if I like to. This thing just looks intimidating as all get out, and this looks like something off of Starship Troopers. In this short video, we can't possibly cover everything about shotguns. Shotgun is a big subject. We just wanted to hit the wave tops and kind of discuss the basics of shotgunning. Get into shotguns. You have to train. Everything is about training. Any one of these weapon systems is great, but it's only as good as the potential a person can produce if they train with a weapon. It's about training. That's what we're about. Come train with us. We'd love to have you. All right. If you have any questions, any comments, if you want to hear more stories from Porter about John Wick, he'll come and read the whole movie to you. Tell us what we got wrong. Ask us some more about shotguns. That's what we're here for. Subscribe to the video, like the video. We'll keep them coming. We'll answer the comments and come out and see us at Sheepdog Response.